Look, we all got bamboozled by the glossy ASUS OLED that turned out to just have a glossy film over it, which, yeah, that classic meme won't fool my clown again, because this time I made sure to actually use my eyeballs and inspect it thoroughly. Fellas, this is the real deal. The AORUS FO32U2P is a glossy 4K 240Hz 32-inch quantum dot OLED Gen 2 gaming monitor, which means that yes, it will have improved text clarity thanks to the new sub-pixel arrangement, and hopefully these Gen 2 panels are far more resilient to burn-in, as Samsung seemed to be implying with their early marketing. Now, as for the rest of the specs, it has a rated peak brightness of 1000 nits and a 0.03 millisecond response time, which not only looks absolutely incredible thanks in part to its real glossy coating, which allows for the most crisp image possible, but is also incredibly fast thanks to the outstanding 240Hz refresh rate. And I just gotta stress, guys, thank God they didn't put a hideous matte finish over this thing, because those absolutely murder the image quality, and it should be, honestly, you should be going to prison for putting that on one of these monitors. So thank God they didn't do that like Samsung. But anyway, any clown can read off specs, which is why I brought some tools to the Gigabyte suite, because I'm a maniac, and put their display to the test. Now, keep in mind, these are pre-release models with incomplete firmware, but taking a look at a 100% window, I did measure 213 nits, which overall is pretty good. That is actually better than the Samsung S95B 55-inch TV, although it does fall short of the S95C. Of course, not everybody has that 55-inch TV, so to put this into perspective, in my opinion, guys, less than 250 nits full screen does start to get a little bit iffy, although a little over 200 nits, in my opinion, is pretty usable. Like, that's pretty good. 150 nits and below that we've been seeing on the C1 and other LG OLEDs in the past is really borderline usable for work on a PC. So yeah, it's pretty good, although I would like to see it a little bit brighter. Hopefully the final version will be 250 nits or somewhere thereabout. But on a 10% window, it was a little bit disappointing. I did actually only measure 370 nits, and honestly, I was expecting somewhere between 400 to 600, although I do understand that these are a lot more pixel dense, and that can cause heating problems. So I'm not sure if it will be improved on the launch firmware. If anyone at Gigabyte is watching this, I would expect to see probably at least 450 nits, so hopefully that does happen. But overall, you know, the 100% window brightness is pretty good, so not too bad. But there's one thing that sets this monitor apart from some other displays I've seen, and that's the I/O. Yes, this monitor is using a full UHBR20 80 gigabit DisplayPort 2.1 port, which I confirmed with Gigabyte to be true, which means that yes, while there are no full 80 gigabit 2.1 GPUs on the market, and yes, that does include the 7900 XTX, which only has 54 gigabits per second. But anyway, when new graphics cards from AMD and NVIDIA launch, hopefully later this year, you will be able to run the full 4K 240Hz 10-bit HDR signal to this display without the need for DSC, which, while it has been determined to be visually lossless, it can cause problems, especially for NVIDIA GPUs, which, by the way, NVIDIA did tell me they have been able to reproduce the black screen DSC issues I've been sending to them and are currently working on a fix. So hopefully, at the least, that issue gets nailed down soon. But overall, guys, I honestly really did love this monitor. I know that I said that I'd like to see it get brighter, and of course, we will measure if there's been any differences on the final version, but you got to remember that for an OLED, this is still much better than what we've seen in the past. And honestly, when it comes to the clarity, the contrast, and the color, this is just way better than any other monitors that have been on the market for a really, really long time, at least when it comes to 4K monitors, and at a price of what I believe is going to be $11.99 in a late January or early February launch. It may be well worth waiting for my review on this one before you decide which one you want to buy, as getting DisplayPort 2.1 at the same price as other versions, which may be limited to 1.4, is definitely going to make this monitor a great option, as long as there's no firmware issues and hopefully the 10% window brightness does get improved on the launch models. Whether you're looking to connect a new console, gaming PC, or just need a fast and reliable HDMI cable to connect over long distances, Rupro has you covered with their certified 8K HDMI 2.1 fiber optic cable, available in sizes of up to 50 feet and can deliver a perfect full 48 gigabits per second connection over distances other cables could only dream of reaching. And with 48 gigabits per second of bandwidth, it can easily drive 8K 60 FPS or 4K 144 FPS 10-bit HDR video through its ultra-thin, flexible, and durable housing, and it even supports ER. So if you're in the market for a cable that can drive a beautiful new TV or monitor, be sure to check out Rupro on Amazon today.